What's going on, sports fans? This is Colton Chumbley with theother98.com. Obviously got a big week going on this week. SEC Media Days kicking off. Had Texas A&M, LSU, and Kentucky on deck for day one. I'm here today with Andrew Lopez, LSU beat writer for NOLA.com. He's here today to talk to us a little bit about just the day in general and, how everything went with Coach O. So, Andrew, what's going on, man?
Ain't nothing much, dude. It's been a good day. We got Jimbo today. We got Coach O today. So a lot of good things to be had.
Absolutely. Well, what is the overall feeling for Ed O and his guys after walking really into the Lions' den a little bit?
Yeah, right now, I mean, for O and his guys, it's kind of they're kind of expecting to be underdogs a lot this year. Not expected to do that much. A lot of prognosticators early on expecting them to go 6-6. Maybe even 5-7, and they're kind of embracing that. You gotta give them credit this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. Foster Moreau, Devin White, Rashard Lawrence all asked at different points about the preseason predictions, and all of them said, "Hey, we respect the media, and that's their job, and it's our job to go out there and prove them wrong." So it's kind of nice to hear them say it that way instead of forget the media, or media don't know what they're talking about, or anything like that. So as a media member, that was nice to hear. But Ogeron he knows that the expectation at LSU is to win, and he knows the pressure is on, even though this is only his second full year as head coach. But they kind of understand, I think, where things are overall.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And after losing guys like Etling and guys to the NFL. What really are Tiger fans' expectations heading into this season? I mean, you said a lot of the pundits are, pegging them at 6-6, but I mean, is the fan base kind of going along with that? Do they believe that this is a rebuilding year?
I was going to say that the fans' expectations may not always match the actual expectations around here. I mean, LSU fans, I feel like they think they're going to win every game. I mean, that's kind of the sense, and then maybe you don't think you're going to win every game, especially with with Alabama on the schedule now. But you're realistic. But I think most LSU fans expect a 10-2 mark, 11-1 mark every year, and they're disappointed when they don't get it. 9 wins last year for Ed Ogeron. If Oregon Key plays in the bowl game, this is probably a 10-win team, and do you still feel that way for some people? I'm not really sure. So, but right now, I think for where they're at, LSU fans, I think, are a little bit more excited considering that Joe Burrow is in town now, and they think that now maybe their quarterback issue is solved. And if they can solve the quarterback issue, then things, can kind of start to kind of look a little bit better.
Yeah, that was actually my next question for you. As of right now, is that who you see winning the starting job at QB?
I'll say it like this. There's no reason to think that Joe Burrow came to LSU to sit on the bench. There's just no way. He set it up at Ohio State the exact way he wanted to. He wants to graduate in 3 years and give himself a chance to go play 2 someplace else. And I think that's what he did. And he represents a more complete quarterback than anybody they have on the roster. Miles Brennan, he has his flaws. Lowell Narcisse has his flaws, and I think Joe Burrow kind of maybe covers both of those in the aspect of he maybe is the guy who can be both for them. He can kind of give them the run and the pass, and I think that's exactly what they're looking for. And they're kind of excited that Burrow's in the fold, but I think a lot of these fans think that with Burrow in the fold, things are going to be a little bit better.
Okay, yeah, well, and the offense really seems to be doing a little bit of a complete overhaul, man. I mean, obviously, the major takeaway today that's going to kind of grab all the headlines is calling the hire Matt Canada a mistake. And so, I'm kind of curious, what are your thoughts about the remark? I mean, do you think it came out the wrong way, or does Coach really believe he was the wrong man for the job?
Coach, here's the thing, and you go back to last media days, and the one thing Ogeron said then, and that he's kind of maintained the whole time, is, when he was at Ole Miss, he didn't let his coaches coach. He was kind of too much of a manager, and didn't really let his guys be what they were supposed to be. And I think what you see now is, he told a lot of people he was going to then you didn't see a change. You didn't see a difference. What I think it was different then is he basically didn't trust Canada the way he trusts Steve Ensminger. That, to me, is what it all boils down to. It has nothing really to do with anything other than that. Like that's the reason to me that this is going to be different. He did kind of admit, hey, this, maybe this wasn't the right thing. I think he said on Feinbaum, asked about, Steve Ensminger wasn't the hottest commodity. How do you still feel about it? And he's like, well, I hired the hottest commodity last time, and that didn't go so well.
Yeah.
So he wants somebody that he can trust. If he does turn everything over, like he says he's going to do, the key is he has to be able to trust that person. If he can trust that person, then he'll be more willing to, let some of the play calling duties, the play calling responsibilities go. So I think right now, if he can do that with Steve Ensminger, somebody he's known since 1979, compared to, what he wants to do with, or what he's had over with Matt Canada.
Absolutely. Well, man, the schedule certainly isn't going to do them many favors. I mean, they've got Miami and Auburn slated in the first 4 weeks of the season. But how do you really envision the rest of the season playing out for them?
I think it's going to be it'll be tough. I think they end up going. I think they're in the 7-5, 8-4 range. I do think Burrow makes that much of a difference. So, but they got a lot of tough games, and they're going to have to win some tough ones. And I can very easily see them turning around and being 5-7, 6-6. I don't think so anymore, but I think the defense is going to carry them for the most part and kind of make it a winning season, and one that definitely gets overrun into 2019 with some momentum.
How many wins exactly do you think it'll ultimately take for Coach O to keep his job?
I think it's got to be. You have to be 500. You have to get to a bowl game. Mm-hmm. Even at 6-6, it's going to depend on how you lose some of them. But you get to 500, I think you're safe. 5-7, maybe if you can sell it at. Give me the 2019 class.
Absolutely.
A full year. You can kind of sell it a little bit, but either way, it's going to be a tough year. And I mean, he could end up going 9-3, and then there'll be people who will call it for his job. That's just kind of how things are down here.
Oh yeah, man, that's part of the drill. SEC West.
Yeah, it is. And it didn't get any easier when Jimbo Fisher got in town. So
that's right. Really, that Texas A&M game could end up being a key game for Coach Orgeron then.
Yeah, because that's going to be the last one. I mean, that's the last game of the regular season, and so depending on how things look, I mean, that's how it is. But Orgeron was asked about the schedule today, and he said, that's why you go to LSU as a player, and that's why you come to LSU as a coach. You want to play against the best. And there's no better division in college football than the SEC West right now.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Andrew, man, I really appreciate, you taking the time, man. I know it was a crazy day for you guys up there in Georgia, so, we all really appreciate it, man, and, we're looking forward to seeing how everything shapes out in Baton Rouge this fall.
All right, man. Thanks for giving me a call.
Absolutely, bud.